Hey, friend, welcome to the podcast, You Are Significant, the podcast where you will hear real stories from real people and we will get down into the truths of your own significance. You were created on purpose for a purpose with seeds of greatness inside of you. Now, let's get down to it. Hey friend, it's January. The holidays are over. It's time for back to work, back to school. And yet you may be feeling like, oh my goodness, I just need a minute. I still need a minute. So it's okay. It's okay whether you are excited the holidays are over or if you need another minute. We are getting ready to move and move into a new house. This is actually day one of moving week. And so, as we think about this topic of what to let go of and become more significant, this is definitely a time in my life that I have been letting go of my home for almost 20 years where I raised my girls and the only home Joe has ever known. He's 15. He was brought home from the hospital here. And this is a time of letting go in our family. We've been going through cabinets and closets and the garage and the attic and deciding what to let go of. And it's also a time, anyway, at the end of December and beginning of January, beginning of the year, when I look at my life, I look at my time, I look at my commitments, and I decide what am I going to keep? What is actually serving vision? What is helping me bless others and help me get to heaven, help my children get to heaven, help my family, help the church that we serve, my church family, our recovery family, so many people that we serve. And we have to put ourselves first because the Bible says, love your neighbor as yourself. So I have to love myself and then I can love other people. So as you look at your life, what are you going to keep? What are you going to let go of? It's definitely a time of letting go. And there's some things that we definitely can let go of. One is expectations. In recovery, we say that preconceived expectations is preconceived hurt. So when you go into a situation and you have certain expectations, you're setting yourself up. Now, how does this reconcile with the fact we definitely need and want to have goals? Well, there's having goals, and then there's having plans, and then there's having expectations as to how all of that is going to play out. And also, I can't control all the humans. I can't control other people. I can't even control myself sometimes. I need God to do it. I have to invite God in to take the reins. You know that song that Carrie Underwood sings, Jesus, take the wheel. I definitely need Jesus to take the wheel of my life. And so as I consider those expectations that can be set up. For example, the movers are coming today and there's a window. They're supposed to be here between 8 and 10. What if something happens and they have a flat tire and they're still not here at 10 o'clock? We have a schedule, we have an expectation, we're primed and ready. And it's okay. The last week, we were supposed to close on our house on Thursday. We found out on Monday night at 8 o'clock, the loan company needed more time. And so they moved our closing to this next Thursday, which will be this week now, Thursday. I was definitely upset about that for a minute because I had spent a lot of the day working on getting the U-Haul reserved. There was problems with my account. There was one person's email, not mine, one person's name and driver's license, not mine, my phone number, which the phone number is the primary driver on this account. Like, you know how accounts have enter this, and then it starts to ask you other questions. Some start with your email. This one started with your phone number. So my phone number, it was my account, but it had a lot of other people's information. And I go in to start deleting things and changing things and cleaning it up, and it wouldn't let me change the email. And the emails was to somebody in my family now that is not safe. So I definitely didn't want them to get a copy of the receipt. So when my husband came in and said at 8 o'clock, the closing's been moved, it's not going to be this week. And I had just gotten a U-Haul reserved after all of that for us to use to start moving stuff before the snowstorm so we can move stuff on Thursday before the snow hit on Friday. It was definitely a shock. So, I want to encourage you to let go of expectations. I had to let go of expectations because if I held on, I could choose to be upset, could choose to be mad, could choose to fume, could choose to pout. But what was that going to change? It wasn't going to help. It wasn't going to change it. So, yes, there's processing emotion. It was okay for me to be disappointed and even feel upset, but I had to get over it. I got my computer, I went in there, I canceled the U-Haul. I also had worked hard to set up for the painter to come and start on Friday. I'd already done a walkthrough. Wednesday with the painter, we'd gone over the colors, the rooms, which colors and which rooms. And I had to let go. I had to say, you know what? I'm going to let the painter know about this change. And if he can still come, great. If not, we'll go from there. So that's what I did. And thankfully, he is still able to come and bring his crew on the new date. And the house cleaning crew was also set up to come. And I had to make changes to that. So, lots of details that when it was like, oh, the closing's going to be moved to a different date, I had to pivot. I just had to decide to let go of my expectations and take a big breath, just do my four-sided breath. And let it go. Physically, mentally, emotionally, let it go. Another area that I think about in 2025 to let go in is I definitely am going to practice forgiveness. And so I'm thinking about anything that is taking my energy. When I get up, I put on joy. I put on gratitude. I stop and think about one thing that I am grateful for. And we talked about this last month, and I hope that you have your journal. I hope that you are writing down at least one thing that you are grateful for each day. When you wake up and your first conscious breath is, what am I grateful for today? Thank you, God, for dot, dot, dot. And you think about, did you get to see your grandkids yesterday? Did you get to go to worship and it was a really great sermon, or there was a song that touched your heart? Did somebody text you and offer you a kind word? What has happened or what is going on in your life that's unique that you are so thankful for? Well, when I put on gratitude like that, then it's much easier to forgive. It's much easier to think of who in my life it's definitely something that I wake up in the morning and I think, what is taking my energy? Is there, usually there's some black spot on the big white poster board, right? And the devil wants to draw our mind. He wants to draw our eye, our spiritual eye to that. But if I can forgive and I can let go, then the devil loses his power over me. He cannot use that to steal my energy and my focus and make me not lean into my significance today. I want to lean into good works. I want to be thinking of others. I want to be thinking, what can I create today? What can I do to encourage today? Who am I going to talk to today? And I'm going to encourage them. So, to do that, I know I've got to let go of whatever it is that would bother me that day. And so I think about what is stealing my energy. And so oftentimes it's something in our family. It's something our husband said, something our grown child said or didn't do, or didn't say, or didn't come to. It may be something your mom did or said or didn't do, right? So many times it's those closest to us that we want to blame for our unhappiness and our discontentment and our sadness and our anger. When if we can let go and forgive, there can be harmony. We can be together again. We can have joy. We can make plans. And we can, like with my husband, if he's done something or said something, if he and I can forgive and have harmony and love one another and care about the other one more than ourselves, then it just creates a beautiful energy that then even together we can serve others and together we can empower each other for the day. I can ask him, what are your goals for today? What are you doing today? And he can ask me the same thing, and we can cheer each other on. So I just don't want to waste any time in 2025 being mad or being sad or being bitter. I want to let go of anything that comes up as it comes up that I can let go of, that I can forgive, that I can even make amends. Maybe I need to say, I'm sorry. Maybe I did something hurtful and I feel guilty about that. And that's taking my energy. Maybe I'm the one who needs to say I'm sorry and not let that have power over my life to make me feel guilty and steal my energy. So as we look at this, I want you to think about, who or what do you need to forgive? Is there a person? Let's look at the 5 questions, and you can journal these out, and it is so powerful. So, first you say who did it? Then what? What did they do? What happened? And so often we just let this be in our mind and we just play it over and over again. So I have a new cat, and this cat adopted us on New Year's Eve. This kitty cat shows up in our garage. It's a calico. Calicos are rare anyway. And my grandkids are here and they're like, look at this kitty. And my granddaughter names the kitty Pepper. And it's not a tiny kitty, it's like a juvenile. So it's still little and so sweet, but it's purring. It's just purring like crazy. And it likes to be picked up and petted and snuggled, and you can hold it like a baby doll. It doesn't look sick. There's no sores. I don't see any fleas. Its ears look clean. This kitty looks good. And I'm like, this kitty probably belongs to someone and has just come up in our yard. But we let the kitty be outside. We put a little food in the pan that we give our cat, Clem, anyway. And the kitty eats some. And I'm like expecting this kitty to just move on because we have a pet door out the back of our garage where it has a regular door that goes out back, and it has a pet door. It can be dogs or cats to come in and out. But this cat continues to stay around. Well, my husband does not want us to have another cat. Understandably, we're getting ready to move. We're getting ready to move, and now our closing's pushed back, so we can't move things through the week. A snowstorm is coming. We're even if we were closing on time, it was going to be hard to get things down to the other house in that week gap. So, who needs another cat right now? But this cat comes up and it is adopting us. It's staying around. And I had wanted, excuse me, I'd wanted a ragdoll cat anyway. And ragdoll cats are really expensive, but they will let you hold them like a baby doll, pet them. They're usually long haired, so beautiful, but very expensive. So I was like, you know what? Maybe this is God's way of comforting me as I'm leaving my grandkids. I'm leaving my kids. It's been a really rough year with my kids. And maybe this is God's way of putting love in my life and joy in my life. And I'm not having to buy a cat. Dawn and Joe are planning to buy dogs. I wanted to get my ragdoll cat, and I'm like, well, it's not a ragdoll cat, but it is a cat that'll let you pet it because Clem has always been our home defense. He doesn't like you to pet him. He'll scratch you. He'll bite you. You have to keep him fed 3 times a day or he'll bite you. And I love Clem because he's kept the squirrels away. We have a southwestern cedar front to our house. The rest is brick. But the squirrels we would wake up in the morning to the squirrels eating our house. So Clem kept the squirrels chased away. The squirrels will also dig up all the tulips and the bulbs. I couldn't grow any bulbs. Now I can grow all these beautiful bulbs because Clem keeps all the squirrels chased away where they don't dig up the tulips and eat them. And I have a small kitchen, so my overflow for my pantry items is out in the garage. I never have any issues. I have cardboard boxes of food out there, and I never have any issues because Clem keeps everything bad away. So even though he's not a cat you pet, he has done his job very well for 12 years. He's going on 12. But I understand that my husband was not happy when this new cat came up. But I fell in love with the cat. My granddaughter fell in love with the cat. And so we have been going back and forth about this cat. Mostly my husband's been just mad. And I've just been like, I want to keep the cat. Also, my son has put his more than 2 cents in. So as we look at forgiving and expectations and letting go and forgiving, then we have a choice. We've had a choice. We've had to decide, are we going to forgive each other? I have to decide, am I going to be willing to not adopt the cat if my husband is that adamantly opposed? Is my husband going to be like, you know what, this makes my wife happy? And if it's a free cat, if this is what she wants, then you know what, I can just change my mind. I can just be okay with it. I can let go of these fear based emotions, anger, rage, and wrath, and whatever else comes in. And I can just choose, you know what, if it makes her happy, I'm going to accept this other cat. And it would be okay for there to be some boundaries too, right? So this is just a great example of where me and my husband have a choice to be angry and not forgive and hold on to expectations, or we can come to peace. We can come to harmony. And as humans, we're not always going to feel the same way. As humans, and there's lots of matters that aren't right or wrong. It's not a matter of sin. It's a matter of preference. It's a matter of judgment, and it's personality. Some people are cat people, some people are dog people, right? And some people love both. So, in your 5 questions, who did it? My husband might be writing down, Darlene. What did she do? She fed that stupid cat. She has not chased that cat away. She let it in the house. She petted it. Okay. And then how did that make you feel? So you put, how did that make you feel in the moment? That's question 3. So you write down what a feelings word. I was angry. I was shocked. I was upset. I was disappointed. I feel defeated. I feel like my wife is not going to listen to me. She's going to win. I feel fear that we're going to have this cat and I won't be able to get a dog. That was my son. He, for whatever reason, thought if we had a cat, he can't get his dog. And I'm like, no, you can have a dog if we have a cat. It's fine. Write down your feelings in the moment. Okay. Then the damage. Damage is number 4. What is the damage? So, the damage could be, I am, I'm not going to speak to my wife. I'm not going to watch a show with my mom because I'm just so mad. I'm just so disappointed. I'm so scared. I'm not going to get my dream dog in this new home. And she promised me I would be able to finally get a dog when we moved. So put the damage down. And the damage can also be more long term. Like if something happened to you in the dark, now you have to sleep with the lights on. Years later, have to sleep with a nightlight or the lights on because of what happened in the dark. Now I'm scared of the dark. That's the damage. Maybe it's social anxiety for damage. Maybe someone bullied you and now you're afraid to go out in crowds because the who was the bully's name. The what is they beat me up on the school playground. That made me feel so small. So it made me feel, which small, that's conditions. That's still not a feelings word. That made me feel helpless. It made me feel scared. It made me feel stupid. It made me feel bad. It made me feel incompetent. It made me feel vulnerable. It made me feel angry. Like a whole lot of feelings words would come up from that. The damages, I'm scared to be in crowds. I have social anxiety. I don't have very many friends. So the damage can be, there could be a good bit in that category. And often when something happens, you may need to write down more than one thing for the who. So let yourself write the who and then more than one what, and then more than one feeling and the damage. And then the final question is, what is my part? My part. So, if there was sexual trauma, not guilty. If this was, maybe I got mad and screamed back at my husband, yes, you will let me have that cat, which I have not done that. I did say one day I wasn't saying anything about the cat. I was just being quiet for days. And I mean, I could just see how he felt. I wasn't saying I'm going to keep this cat or I want this cat or we're moving with this cat. But then after several days, maybe a week or so, because this happened on New Year's Eve, New Year's Eve. So here we are. And it's January 13th. So this has been almost 2 weeks ago. This cat showed up. So maybe about 4 days ago, I said, I want to move both cats. I really like this cat. It was on a trial period with me too. And this cat didn't go away. Nobody has come and picked it up, put a collar on it, taken it home, locked it up. I mean, the cat's still here. We live in a neighborhood. There's a lot of houses. So, it could be somebody's cat. But this is not a HOA, so there's not a community chat or Facebook page or anything. So you just have to give it time and see what happens. And I know it's not, several of my neighbors, I know it's not their cat. And one neighbor has three big dogs. Two are German Shepherds and one is a Rottweiler. So I'm like, I don't think it's their cat. One neighbor, she's never home taking care of her aging mom. One neighbor spends 6 months in Ireland. I know it's not her cat. The other neighbors are foreign people. And I'm like, I doubt it's their cat. They're just trying to feed themselves and their baby. So, anyway, but if it is, it can wander over there. They can call it, they can keep it. This cat is still here. It's 2 weeks later. So, about 4 days ago, I was like, you know what? I really want to move both cats. I like this cat. So then, of course, that elevated things. But, point being, these are the 5 questions. And who knows? I'll have to let you know what happens with this cat because it's still undecided. But I'm hoping that I get to keep the cat. But in this is a good example to help you work through these 5 questions. As we move into the new year, I want to help you and empower you to let go and forgive. And there can be lots more serious things to forgive than your spouse keeping a pet that you really just didn't want. So to review, your 5 questions is who did it, what did they do, how did that make me feel in the moment, what was the damage, this like the social damage, the long lasting effects, how is this affecting you, and then what is my part, do I have something I need to make amends for? So I'm excited to let go of more things. And I read the book 10X is Easier Than 2X. I spent about 5 months on that book, 4 or 5 months reading that at the end of the year. And it teaches the 80-20 rule that you want to make the 20 your priority and let go of 80% in your life. And so when you make the 20% the priority and you let go of the 80%, you are going to have so much more time and energy to put into what's important. And so an example of this in business would be you need to be developing relationships. Let someone else do the paperwork. Let someone else run your page on social media. Like, what can you delegate out? And this book really recommended hiring an assistant, even when you couldn't afford it. Because if you hired an assistant, then really quickly your profits are going to go up and you're going to be creating more income, and that assistant is going to pay for themselves. So, an example of that was Michelangelo when he sculpted out the David, and he studied cadavers more than doctors study cadavers, and he knew what to chisel away from the marble to keep what was going to create the David. And so I want you to think about your vision for yourself, your vision for your family, your vision for your finances, your vision for your physical health. And I think of it like a pie, and there's 5 sections on there. And as you look at what's important to you and your vision, it's going to become more apparent what you need to let go of, right? So looking just at your physical health, if you want to have 6-pack abs, you're going to have to let go of the nightly ice cream. You can't eat ice cream every night and have chiseled out showing 6-pack abs. You could have them maybe underneath the layer of fat or 2 or 3. But if you want to be lean, you're going to have to let go of the ice cream. And you're going to have to embrace some things too. So that's what we're going to talk about In my next solo cast with you in January, we're going to talk about what to embrace and that there are some things to embrace in 2025 as well. I love you, friends. Happy New Year. It's January. This is a fresh start. What can you let go of? What can you take off your plate? What can you let go of from your heart so that you are more free and have more energy and more joy in 2025? I love you, friend. Thank you for tuning in to You Are Significant. I hope this episode inspired you to embrace your own God given purpose. If this episode inspired you and blessed you, would you please share it out with a friend who needs to be reminded of their own significance? And remember to hit subscribe. Until next time, remember to walk in faith, find the joy, and stand in your significance.